I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Was the article about you, Ms. Crockett?
It was not about me.
Okay, Chair recognizes Mr. Min.
Unanimous consent, which are not debatable.
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to take on all comments. So I entertain
it. If somebody tries to put an article in about you, and I've read a few.
I'm sure y'all want to talk about my private school, honey.
If somebody does, you can defend yourself. Mr. Min.
And if we continue to put people into office, and that even means some of our skinfolk who definitely are not our kinfolk, such as Byron Donalds, who are going to continue to say that, like, I mean, the fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, like, is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you? I'm not really sure, like, what it is.
Well,
but
you couldn't even be married to a white woman under Jim
Correct.
Crow.
Correct. And it took Joy to call him out. So I'm like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? Like, he just out here, you know, I feel like they give him his talking points and he's like, yes, massa, I got it.
First of all, I'm tired of that BS. First and foremost, it got nothing to do with my wife. Let's just put that right out in the open. They're mad because I'm a conservative Republican and I'm not a Democrat who believes in crazy liberal policy. If I believed in crazy liberal policy, which I do not, then they would be singing my praises. And they wouldn't care that my wife is white. Kamala Harris, her husband's white. Ketanji Brown Jackson, her husband's white. They not say anything about those two dudes or the fact that they married white men because they follow Democratic liberal ideology. Second thing, to Jasmine herself. Jasmine, last year, you and I were supposed to be debating on several different stages. You canceled. I don't know what's going on in your schedule. That's your personal business. But if you want to flush this out, I'm not hard to find. Pick the show, pick the place. I'll be there. I'm unafraid. I basically go anywhere we do this. Number three, last and not least. Nobody tells me what to say. I don't use talking points. When somebody asks me a question, you basically know how I feel about it because I'm telling you right then and there. If you're concerned about what my viewpoints are very clear because you could Google me because I know I have plenty of media interviews at this point. So I would just say that back to my colleague from Texas. Don't be concerned about my marriage. Be concerned about the fact that your party lost because your policies are awful. The American people rejected it. And if you want to debate those policy constructs, come find me. We will do it anywhere, any place.
What you just heard is a real glimpse into the political battlefield we're living in right now. A sitting member of Congress gets attacked not for his ideas, not for his voting record, but for who he married and the fact that he refuses to bow to the Democrat identity politics machine. And then, instead of retreating like the left hoped, Byron Donalds stood his ground, exposed the hypocrisy, and walked right through their smear tactics like they were paper walls. This isn't politics as usual. This is a cultural fight over who gets to speak, who gets to think freely, and who gets to define what it means to be an American. Before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment to support this channel. Every time you do that, you help push back against the algorithms that try to silence conservative voices. We're not backing down, and neither should you. Now let's break down what we just witnessed. Jasmine Crockett didn't attack policy. She didn't challenge economic arguments, border policy, crime reform, or anything of substance. She went straight to the most tired, divisive narrative the left clings to, racial policing. In her mind, if you're black and conservative, you're a threat. If you don't fall in line with the Democrats, suddenly you're not black enough. That's the ugly truth she said out loud. This is the same crowd that lectures America about racism while they weaponize race every time someone strays from their political plantation. They don't debate. They demean. They don't challenge ideas. They attack identity. And Byron Donalds handled it exactly how leaders should. No victimhood. No apologies for thinking independently. He didn't hide from his past either. He owned it. He explained how accountability built him into a stronger man and a better public servant. That's the kind of story the left should applaud, but they can't because his success destroys their narrative. It proves you don't need to play the victim to rise. You need responsibility, work ethic, and truth. The very values they treat like poison. Then we see him take that same discipline and fire it straight into the immigration debate. Calm, focused, fact-driven, holding governors' feet to the fire on the border crisis, state spending, illegal immigration data, and the failures of federal leadership. The left calls border enforcement Gestapo tactics, while their cities crumble under the weight of policies they refuse to take responsibility for. Meanwhile, people are fleeing blue states for places like Florida, where leaders like Donalds and DeSantis prioritize safety, freedom, and accountability. That contrast speaks for itself. This whole exchange tells you everything. The left needs emotional attacks because they cannot match conservatives on facts, results, or real-world outcomes. Their strategy is simple: smear, distract, and scream about racism when the argument slips away. But it's failing. America sees through it. Voters see through it. And leaders like Byron Donalds make it impossible to hide. We're entering a new era where conservatives don't just defend, we push back. We don't apologize for believing in strong families, secure borders, law and order, or the idea that success comes from effort, not excuses. And people are waking up to the reality that the Democrat Party doesn't protect minorities, it controls them. Freedom is the real threat to their power, and nothing terrifies them more than independent thought. Stick around, because if this moment proved anything, it's that the fight for America's future is getting louder, sharper, and more honest. And we're not playing defense anymore. If you're with us, like, subscribe, and share this. Let's keep building a community that refuses to be intimidated, refuses to be silenced, and refuses to surrender the truth. America doesn't bow. Not today, not
unanimous
ever.
Consent to enter into the record this May 16th, 2024 article from the Washington Post titled, "A Congressman Spared Prison as a Teen Tells D.C. to Be Tough on Youth," which covers the story of a sitting congressman who used a pretrial diversion program to avoid jail time.
I think the title's been read, Mr. Chairman.
With intent to distribute and had a bribery charge.
Mr. Chairman, the title's been read.
And yet that is the
Mr.
level
Chairman,
of
the title's been read. We're not reading the entire document.
Mr. Chairman,
All you have to do is say the title and the publisher. So without objection.
Mr. Chairman, and since the gentlelady is referring to me, I wonder if she would like to debate the actual topic. I'm more than prepared to debate the topic. I've been doing it my entire life.
Do you want to?
You voted illegally your entire life?
Would the lady yield the gentleman from Florida?
No, it's not a debate. It's an article that obviously you admit is about you, about how you were spared prison as a teen and now want to not allow other young people.
And actually, for the gentlelady, let's be very clear. The article is wrong. The article is wrong, and I'm on the record stating that repeatedly. I've never been proud of what happened when I was 18 years old or 20 years old. I was wrong, and under the laws of the state of Florida, I was held accountable for that as an adult. So let's be very clear about what was written in that article, which is wrong. That does not coincide with the language that I passed off the House floor the other day. If you want to read articles and put them in the record, let's be clear about what they are. And since I'm the only subject matter expert on that article, I would like to set the record straight right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm requesting equal time. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Was the article about you, Ms. Crockett?
It was not about me.
Okay, Chair recognizes
But it was
Mr. Min.
unanimous
Mr.
consent,
Chairman,
which is not debatable.
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to take on all comers. So I entertain
If somebody tries to put an article in about you, and I've read a few.
I'm sure y'all want to talk about my private school, honey.
If somebody does, you can defend yourself. Mr. Min.
Mr. Chairman, I actually have a point of personal privilege.
Yes, state your point.
It was raised earlier in an article about me, so let's just get to it.
I thought we did this already.
No, well, we're doing it again because your name was not raised, so now we get to do it twice. Thank you.
No.
He's being recognized for a point of privilege.
It's a point of personal privilege.
We're going to need one,
Thank you very much. I don't think it's really personal for you, madam. Let's be clear about a couple of things. Yes, when I was 18 and 20, I was arrested twice. I was. I made a lot of mistakes when I was young. I've admitted them. I've had to live with them my entire life. Every day since the age of 21, I've had to purpose myself to be a better man than I was the day before. That is something that was afforded to me by the laws of the state of Florida. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. And now I'm here in the nation's capital doing my job. In Florida, when I got into my trouble, I was not tried as a juvenile. I was tried as an adult because I was an adult. And since that point in time, I have worked, whether it's at the state level or here at the federal level, to make sure that our criminal justice policies and systems actually make sense, and they are built to secure and protect the citizens that we all serve. That's a mission I've been on ever since.
Will the gentleman yield?
I'm not going to yield because it's a personal point of privilege. It's not for you.
I just wanted to clarify
something. For the record, I wanted to make that point be clear. Yes, I'm the author of the D.C. Crimes Act. Yes, I believe that adults over the age of 18 should be held accountable as adults.
This is not a campaign ad for the gentleman's governor.
This is not a campaign ad. I'm stating it for the record. because it was raised by the gentle lady. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name. I know you're a freshman member of the House, and I have never had a chance to meet you, but it was raised, so I wanted to provide a response because my name was brought up in an article submitted for the record. I think
Point
I'm
of
done
information.
now. I yield. One of my colleagues, you know her, she was supposed to debate me a couple times. The president refers to her as Crockett. And so Crockett was supposed to debate me. And a funny thing happened. Her schedule would always change. I would be ready to go. My team would say, all right, sir, she's coming in, you're going to debate about this stuff. And it would change. And miraculously, she couldn't do it. And the reason why the schedule kept changing is because we understood very quickly that when you try to debate somebody who knows the facts, has the substance, brings common sense, and has a better argument, it's better for your schedule just to change.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about, I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet.
Chair, now recognize Mr. Donalds from Florida.
Thank you, Chairman. To piggyback off my colleague, Governor Pritzker, how much does the state of Illinois spend on illegal immigration every year?
Again, illegal immigration, that's a federal responsibility. They could tell how much is wasted as a result of their failures.
Governor, don't you keep track of how many people are on your Medicaid rolls, how many people who are illegal immigrants in the state of Illinois who are getting actually benefits in your state? Doesn't your government keep track of that?
They don't get Medicaid in Illinois or any state as far as I know.
Governor Pritzker, you do not keep track of any public service dollars in the state of Illinois that goes to illegal immigrants or goes to people in your state who are not legal residents of the United States and of the state of Illinois. You don't keep track of that.
We absolutely keep track of our budget, and we're very closely, and in fact, it's been balanced for 7 years in a row, unlike the Republican before me. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I noticed that in the state of Illinois, you guys don't really keep track of your money, because I asked your mayor in Chicago similar question about a month ago, and he didn't have an answer. It was quite interesting. I think this might be an Illinois problem. Governor Hochul, in your state, you are spending about roughly $4 billion on illegal immigration. And at the same time, you are actually asking the federal government for $4 billion to finish Penn Station. Don't you think it would be better to stop funding illegal immigrants in your state and actually use those resources to finish Penn Station as opposed to coming to the federal government for the money?
Penn Station is owned by Amtrak, not by the state, so it's an appropriate use of their dollars, and Donald Trump has agreed to spend upwards of $7 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I never
do its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
we
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like to my memory.
Many conversations I had with the White House. And we asked for federal resources. I mean, you're putting a federal problem on our laps, and you know what? It gets old after a while. I wish you would just do your job.
If your party actually would do the job of
reform.
securing the nation the way President Trump has now had to do twice, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Wouldn't you agree? Do you agree or disagree that securing the nation's borders is the job of the President of the United States? President Trump has done that job twice now.
Well,
and previous Democrat presidents have not done that job. Wouldn't you agree with that?
this has been a problem that's been in place since I was a young staffer here on Capitol Hill. We worked on immigration, and Ronald Reagan signed amnesty for 3 million people.
You know, it's interesting you bring up Reagan's amnesty in '86. You know, part of that deal was to actually build border wall and secure it. but the Democrat Party refuses to build border wall. You oppose it every single time. Is that your position? Do you now support border walls,
There
Governor
has
Hochul?
been many times when bipartisan legislation is presented to this body and people just walk away from it. They refuse to do the hard work of governing like governors like us have to do every single day. When I leave here, I'm going to go home and govern a state. I'm not going to tweet about this experience because I have too much work to do taking care of New Yorkers. And
You're really not doing a good job, Governor Hochul, because a lot of New Yorkers are actually coming into my state, in Florida, many of them. They come all the time because they actually want to come to a state that is well run, that protects citizens, does not allow illegal aliens to victimize citizens like they are victimized in the state of New York, like they are victimized in the state of Illinois, like they are victimized in the state of Minnesota. They choose states like Florida and Texas to find safer places to live and raise their families. Hold on, Governor Hochul. We've had enough
crime
time.
rates are much
Governor
lower
Walz,
than
you've been
yours,
sitting over there
much
pretty
lower.
quiet. I got a question for you.
I love to talk. Thank you, Congressman.
Fair enough. You said earlier that the ICE agents under the orders of President Trump are a modern-day Gestapo. Do you realize how disgusting a phrase that is, considering the history of Nazi Germany? Would you like to recant that statement?
What I said, Congressman, and I have a long history of supporting law enforcement, I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo, not identifying who you are, coming up in unmarked vans, taking people away and giving...
Is it the responsibility of ICE to actually deport illegal aliens in the United States who are here? Isn't that their responsibility?
Yes, it is, Congressman, except that the Constitution is not an inconvenience. It's not an either-or.
Nobody said an inconvenience.
You
He have a responsibility to deport illegal aliens, and the president is going through that process right now. And let's be very clear, the previous administration, they abused every process there is under border laws to allow more than 10 million people into the country illegally. And this is a burden on all Americans. And so the president is doing his job. So it is sick to refer to Americans who are ICE agents as Gestapo. Governor, you're wrong. You need to apologize to these agents. They're doing their jobs. They are Americans. They serve this country with honor and decency and respect. Do not diminish their work simply because you tried to make a cheap point that you could tweet. I yield back.
Members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed-door hearings, and people want to say back and forth at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what party it's happened from. You've got members who've engaged in revenge porn in this committee. So it is understandable why Hunter Biden would want to testify in front of the public for the American people to be able to witness that testimony for themselves. You've got members who've defied subpoenas. You've got members who we are 1 year into the term asking what the rules are at the beginning of the committee. The book was given to us on day one. And so what we should do is allow the man to testify. I believe in the power of the Oversight Committee. Frankly, I believe in it regardless of whether Republicans or Democrats have the chair, because I believe that this committee should have the power of oversight. And we cannot do that on a partisan basis. And so for that, I implore this committee to allow Hunter Biden to testify publicly. I implore and I ask for that to happen. And we cannot do that by getting engaged in this back and forth on a defiance of the subpoena. Let him comply. Let him do it today. Let him do it tomorrow. But let the man do it. And with that, I yield back to the ranking member.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things. First, it was said in this hearing, Mr. Chairman, about you specifically, that you repeatedly said you would give Mr. Biden any opportunity. He could choose which one to come and speak in front of this committee. He could do it by deposition. He could do it by open hearing. It was up to him. The truth of the matter, though, is, members, is that the chairman's words are not binding. Like, no other member's words of Congress are really not binding. The binding article.
Point of order. Does the chairman agree with that? Point of order. Does the chairman agree?
Are you going to restore my time?
Point of order. Just point of order. Does the chairman agree that the chairman's words are not binding on the committee?
That's not a point of order. It has nothing to do with the order of this hearing. Thank you. Can I go back to 4 minutes and 34 seconds? That's where I was before I was interrupted by Mr. Raskin.
Yes. Reset the clock.
Thank you. Thank you. What is binding is the actual written document, the written language in the subpoena, because a subpoena from this committee is also signed off on by the clerk of the House. That is the binding document that matters here. That is what governs. That's number one. Number two, that was said in this hearing. It was said that our witnesses said that there was no basis for an impeachment. But remember, members on the Democrat side of the aisle, what was said by Mr. Turley at the time was that there was plenty of evidence for the continuation of an impeachment inquiry. And the purpose of that hearing was the relevance basis for an impeachment inquiry. The House has now voted for an impeachment inquiry. And one of the first things that the House did after the vote of an impeachment inquiry was to subpoena Hunter Biden to appear. Hunter Biden has evaded that subpoena. So flagrantly did he evade it that he decided to show up at the Senate side to give a press conference, and Eric Swalwell, a member of the House, helped him get that time on the Senate side to give a press conference. That's a flagrant violation of a congressional subpoena. Secondarily, he has the gall to show up here when we're actually discussing contempt. And he didn't stay. He was sitting right over there. He's not here now. He said he wants to talk. He could have stayed through the whole proceeding. He chose to leave. That's his business. But he was subpoenaed to come here. Back in December, he chose not to of his own volition. He's in violation of that subpoena, a subpoena that was executed with the signature of the clerk of the House of Representatives. That is the document that is binding. That's what we work off of. Mr. Chairman, I actually want to submit for the record an article from The Hill written by Jonathan Turley, and it is titled Eric Swalwell and the Politics of Contempt.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. I'm glad something got admitted to the record. Last, a couple other points. One quick point I want to make, and this is in reference to the minority's report about this $7.8 million. I want the minority to understand one very important distinction between Presidents Biden and President Trump. President Trump has an international real estate portfolio that he has amassed over decades. I'm quite sure if you go back through all of the hotels